find out. Anyone have any takes on JIPA or no? No? Yeah, exactly. Put it all in there and then just do predictions there. It's pretty cool. You kind of like you can do predictions on missing pixels in a video or image, or you can do it about future frames, etc. But again, it's not happening in the actual pixel space. It's happening in like the embedded space of those data points. ArcAGI, new ArcAGI benchmark. ArcAGI is like the toughest challenge that's supposed to actually
Should we roll?
measure,
Should we roll?
general intelligence. So it's basically kind of like these spatial IQ tests, right? That's what it was. Now I think they've pivoted. I haven't really looked into this, but I think it's more in the age of agents. It's kind of now trying to test agents, not just test kind of the raw model capability. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform there. Tends to be that like ArcAGI comes up with a benchmark, and then all the current models score like shit, and then they kind of learn to sort of hill climb on ArcAGI, and then they get better. So this would be interesting to follow. Also, a Frenchman, Francis Collet, who's behind it. You got to give it to the French. They haven't, being stubborn and having their opinions. It's not for nothing. Yeah, a bunch of video models have been released lately. Very much focused on like efficiency and getting to like real-time streaming and stuff like that. Not sure if any of you played with like Helios or some of those. My experience is like they're pretty cool because you can get real time on maybe 1H100, maybe 388, who knows. But the quality is kind of shit. So, but still impressive. Oh yeah, I was so I've been thinking about this, the paperclip project. Has anyone heard about this? And I'm not talking about like the whole kind of death AI scenario with everyone AI just commoditizing all atoms to just make paper clips, but essentially it's a project that's kind of an abstraction layer on top of your open quad. That's my understanding, to basically run like an organization of agents. Did I get that right? More or less. Has anyone tried it? No. Does anyone know of any companies that have made a lot of success using it? No? Okay, well, maybe it will happen here. Who knows? But we'll see. That's basically all I had. I mean, I can rant for a bit more, but I'm curious, is anyone sort of, did I miss something? Something important that happened in like AI the last month, roughly?
Did you see Elon's Terrafab
Oh, yeah, and also space compute. Space compute has become a meme now.
mass driver for the moon?
Sorry, what was that?
Mass driver for the moon.
Mass drivers. No, I didn't see that.
The Billy Dyson sphere around the sun.
Oh, he is. Okay. Well, first they have to do the space compute, right? Like actually put GPUs in space. And they made Akane AI, yeah, the Japanese
Really
AI
love her,
company.
huh?
What AI scientists? Their own internal AI scientist agent?
Yeah, so they wrote the AI scientist, and the goal was to publish a peer-reviewed article completely written by the AI.
Which
We're
model?
gonna start soon, y'all.
Any.
Okay.
So this article was written by AI,
Yeah.
and they got good acceptance, and now they published in Nature.
They
And
published that in Nature. They published the fact that they managed to publish in Nature.
so the AI scientist published something
Yeah.
in a book.
Yeah. But is
And
it,
the
have you tried it?
architecture and the source code and so on was published in Nature.
Right.
So you have the notebooks and
How's it different from Andre Karpate's like auto ML researcher guy? That's also something that has been in the memes.
more sophisticated.
More sophisticated. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Andre Karpate, OG AI researcher, built kind of a auto AI researcher. Basically, it's like a fancy prompt and then a Claude or several Claude instances that just run automatically and try a bunch of things to make his score on a very small toy LLM go down. And down is lower is better, right? And then just like he does that, and it does a lot of, it's able to do a lot of tricks and make the thing better. It's not yet very practical, I think, but it's definitely possible if you have very constrained problem now.
Yeah, something to add here maybe what is interesting or what he did is he fixed the compute budget. So he optimizes on a set compute budget, which is, you know, a kind of, let's say, straightforward way to optimize his runtime functions.
Yeah, it's true, but I think a lot like try to get a fake GPT or something.
Yeah, he put some guardrails into that. I don't know if they work, but
No, but yeah, you base rate the experiments the last 5 minutes, basically, something like that, and that you know you can iterate very quickly. That's just the standard practice. Like any other research done for being that's what we do. We try to just make a very small experiment that will still tell you whether option A is better than option B, and you just iterate. Okay, I think we're probably running out of time. We're already on time. Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll be here for another hour until towards close. Matt TV will run there. Big round of applause for Lars. And
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. We seem to be live right now. Are we live, Christopher?
About time. We are indeed.
Julia, we're meeting for the first time today. The old-timer and the AI Mod Lab protege. What's our aim today? What kind of questions do you want to ask?
Our goal today is to get on the inside of how it is to be in this community. So the setup will be that we will have a little chat, and the goal for you to feel is that you're a part of this conversation. So ask us questions, shoot comments. We're here to listen and create.
And we got some really interesting guests today. So before we get into that, you want to say something about the community, what it means to you, the people you've met. You're the protege of the community. That means like you guys really built together.
It
yeah.
really does.
Tell me about that.
I really do love this place, and it means a lot to me, as this was one of the first. I mean, it was one of the first communities I truly felt home at, and I'm not from here, so that truly means a lot. And I came here when I was studying my first year of software engineering. I chatted to some people, and then I was fortunate enough to land my very first jobs, to gain this perspective and this kind of authenticity of daring to do the fucking shit.
Daring to do the fucking shit. I think that's a perfect segue into our first guest. It's sort of a personal story for me. We got William here. All right, so while he gets comfortable, today's topic is brain-computer interfaces. And for those of you who know me, our first company was basically intuitive computer interaction, our natural hand gestures and face motions, and we did this with, spacesuit interaction systems and construction software. But an artist's soul always prioritizes what matters to a human being. And I'm here with one of my best friends in life, William. And we had these sensor gloves that we used to control basically anything. Back then it was our in-house built sensor gloves, house soldered, custom PCB, everything. And I thought, like, what's the point of this if not to express yourself artistically? So I called William, I linked him up with our CTO and said, I want to control music, I want to control lights. And he is one of the best music technologists out there. And he got this tech in his hands, and this is 10 years ago now. And he took it to the moon, almost literally. So you see he has very interesting hardware on him now. But to sort of kick off the brain-computer interface spiel today, let's get the story from William. And he had to go to France for us to meet Airbus, because he is also a great tech CEO. He can play that vibe better than any, but a true artist.
Well, thank you so much, Maina. I really appreciate all you're saying, and I also really appreciate all the collaboration we've had going on for 10 years now. It's been a really fascinating journey to be developing this sensor glove, and I remember you calling me and hitting me up about like how can we express ourselves artistically with this, and I remember that like as if it was yesterday. And this project really it really took me, like it really gripped me, simply because of the fact that in modern music production you are restricted to very simple encoders, like very basic controllers, and I've always thought that was really restrictive of how an artist can perform. So if you compare like a violinist actually performing with a violin, there's such a massive degree of expression in that performance, and electronic
full
music,
vibrato.
yeah, so
the feeling to it.
Yeah, there's so much expression, while electronic music really gives so many possibilities, but the interface that we use to actually control the sound is extremely limited. Like, you're actually limited to 2 encoders at a time, which is super restrictive. So we built a software for this expressive gestural control, and so in the beginning it was all about linear mappings, so controlling sounds with quite basic vectors.
Yes, let's do a demo.
But what I wanted to show you is where this project is headed. So I'll give you a 1-minute tech demo just to show you like that the possibilities are still there. There's still more to explore to it.
Yes, because there's so much here. So get it ready and you show us the tech demo. So through this project, William has become like a true tech genius. He's training his own models now. And, you know, with the rise of LLMs, this project really got superpowers, because what took like hundreds of hours can now be done with a prompt.
Yeah, so what I've been developing lately is a machine learning framework to be able to recognize gestures in real time. So one of my challenges after using this for 10 years is that the linear mappings just didn't cut it. I wanted to make more complex gestures, or even detect drumming strokes, stuff like that. So what I did is I actually built a machine learning pipeline with the GUI and everything to make it handy to train the AI system on glove motions. So that's what I want to show you right now, how simple it is to use, how simple it is to train, and the results you can get from it. Can you show the interface on the screen? So what we have here is a live signal. So this is made.
I'll hold it for you.
This is made specifically for glove drumming, so drumming gestures. So what I do here is I can simply record a strike, then it will become a part of my data set. And as you can see here, I have tons of data that I've recorded with several physical parameters, which is from the glove itself. And as you can see, I've been labeling all these thousands of recordings and deployed this into an actual inference engine. So I'm going to show you the inference engine right now. And wait a minute. There we go. Oh.
So you get to see it truly live here.
So what I did is I recorded 1,400 gestures of me just drumming in several directions, and then I used AI to augment that data set. And what you see here is the actual inference that's happening. And as you can see, when I do a drumming motion, you can see that there's a red line that detects the actual drum hit. And so it doesn't even matter where I am drumming. It is super accurate. And what's really interesting is that this is running on 2 samples long data sets. So it's an audio buffer is a 44,000 samples per second. This is 2 of these samples. That's all you need for the engine to actually recognize your drum hit, which I find fascinating. So this is where it's headed, and I'm looking forward to show more of it.
It's going to be wild. And just to end with a little shout out to Manus Meta. They became our hardware vendor, and that became a close friendship between William and them and I.
Yeah.
And you know, they were just focused on the data gloves, while we wanted to focus on the context. But they managed to stay in the game, and now we're sort of meeting full circle. Say something about that.
I have to give a big shout out to Manus Meta, because an AI system is only as powerful as the input data you get. And So to me, it's absolutely integral that the actual hardware I'm using is state-of-the-art, super accurate. It uses patented electromagnetic field technology to really get precise data, and that's what makes this work so well.
Thank you so much, William.
Thank you.
Great having you on. And Jonas should be ready with our next guest.
Hi there. So, I'm so sorry. We are talking to a speaker who is dragged into a conversation. So sorry.
All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
And we are back. Добрий вечір.
Добрий
Ми з
вечір,
України.
ми з України.
Sorry, this is a local joke. This is Agnessa, and she talked to us about...
Brain-computer interfaces for robotic platforms.
Anywhere. I mean, you can look at me, you can look at the camera.
Okay,
I mean, whatever makes you most comfortable.
Yeah.
What is the application of this super duper cool technology that you just mentioned?
So, I mean, with non-invasive BCIs, there are loads of different applications.
Right.
It can be anything from robot dogs to assisted robotics to exoskeletons, to consumer products like computers and various things like that. So it's the pool of opportunities to apply it for is really big.
And I got a little bit of glimpse of your conversation today, of your talk, where you mentioned you applied to defense and healthcare.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a bit more on how you do it there?
Yeah. So like you said, we're starting with defense and healthcare because we find that the use cases there suit our product the best.
Right.
It's not offensive defense. I just had to point that out so that no one comes for me there.
Thanks for that.
But yeah, no, like in defense, it's more remote control of smaller robots.
Like drones or...
It can be drones, it can be UGVs, it doesn't have to. Like our system is modular and it's quite adaptable. We just need to know the technical specs of what we want to control first.
Right. And I heard that, I mean, you spent a month in Ukraine recently, right?
Yeah.
And so you were working quite closely with the application of the technology.
Yeah.
And you're also a solo founder, and how have you been in the last couple of months?
I have not slept very well in the last couple of months. But I think the Ukraine trip, I think it really helped me to spend a lot of time with end users and sort of just understand, what do they actually want? How do they actually want to control these robotic systems? Because, at the end of the day, I think we need to accept that robotic systems are becoming a very integral part of defense, defense and security. And just to have the opportunity to meet with people that work with us every day in like a national security setting was very helpful for me as well. Like being a solo founder, I think there's a lot of upside to it. Like, the upsides are that you get to decide the route that you take. You decide what you build. You decide how you go about it. But then it's like, having a startup it's pretty challenging.
Absolutely.
You make, so many different decisions every single day. You have to learn so many different things as well, which are not even remotely connected to what you're actually building.
No, there is a lot of part to the business beside the actual product, right?
Yeah. And, you think about, the startup ecosystem, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Even in Norway,
growing, right?
it's just growing. And even in Norway, people say that the startup ecosystem here is small. I think it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter what ecosystem you're in. You're still gonna feel, so alone sometimes, because it's
being that a solo founder or just in general.
Solo founder, yeah. Because even if you have a team, I did everything alone for a really long time. But yesterday. Now we're a team of two. Yesterday I hired someone, so I can't wait to meet more people.
Congratulations. No, I'm really happy for you.
I'm really excited about that.
And what is something that you learned being with your end users in the last month that you didn't expect to find out?
Well, first thing I learned is that companies or corporations and people who are not at war have a very different idea in their heads over what war actually is like. And Just to be said, I am not war monitoring here. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know how to say this.
Disclaimers are there. Okay, this is just a conversation one-to-one. Please do not take our words too literally.
Yeah.
Do not mean to offend anybody.
But this is just like what I've seen. And what I've heard. And I mean, like, especially in Ukraine, I mean, I sound like a broken clock when I say this, but the speed at which they iterate and test new solutions and how quickly they come up with new solutions is extremely impressive.
Oh, you mean it's fast?
They're very fast.
Oh, wow, that's incredible to hear.
You know, at the end of the day, like, many of these soldiers, they're civilians. And they were just, like, pushed into this. And, you know, many of them are, you know, extremely talented engineers. And so, you know, they just come up with these extremely sophisticated solutions that are honestly very novel. And, you know, that could be, like, their own little startups.
I mean, that's a great finding, and I'm really happy to hear that was your experience, and I'm proud for our country. Slava Ukraini!
Slava Ukraini!
And thanks for joining us.
We're going to start up with, you know, challenging the brosphere here. Not really, but you can jump in if
I need to go afterwards.
Okay. We can be more.
Or I can just skip.
Abdellatif, you just don't
go
go anywhere.
It's okay.
You jumped on the stage, so you gotta stay by it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jump in and let him jump in.
Come in.
All right. So you are gonna get thrown off by this next line of questioning.
Sure.
Before we get into that, like, you do RAG. Will you explain that in 10 seconds?
Yeah, sure. So language models like GPT and so on, they're trained on internet data, but a lot of companies have their own private data, and they want the language model to have access and interact with it. So RAG is a technique where you can augment language models with your own first-party data.
Retrieval automated generation.
Retrieval augmented generation.
Augmented.
Yes.
Okay, so it's about context, right? You know, a company needs the right context for what they're trying to solve, right? So, in layman's terms, you know, you can use your own data.
Yeah, you can have your own ChatGPT.
Exactly, exactly. Jonas, put the mic here so we hear you.
Hello.
And what are you working on, really quick?
We're solving commercial real estate with venture due diligence. So it's a software that takes all the documents and give you the right answer on the risk.
That is a very good pitch, and I think I understood most of it.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too hard into the technicalities because we're going to zoom out and just like look at the broader brosphere and the AI sphere. And then my question to both of you is like, is it like your dream here to like build a SaaS based on agents and be like one of the last to make it out before we're all automated away? Like, what's the end state? Why are you desperate to get this through?
I actually had this conversation this week with some of the founders. In 5-10 years, are we going to be valuable, or is there going to be like this CEO agent? For me, I'm taking this time and just making the most of it, out of it.
For the sake of building.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it's one of the best times to build because the ecosystem and landscape is changing so much, and bigger companies are slow to adapt, and there's a lot of real estate that's still not claimed. And you coming in early, being small, being a startup, and claiming the real estate and building something cool on top of it is quite exciting.
Yeah, because you're getting in at the right part of history.
Yeah.
You know, when you know the small ones will become big and all this stuff. So, but you have also a very interesting life journey, and you ended in the Norwegian ecosystem, but your skill set is for anywhere. So why here, and why this specific segment? It's like, is it a cynical thing or is it a personal thing?
Yeah, so some background, I'm from Egypt, studied in California, worked at NASA and Twitter, and then my family moved to Norway from Abu Dhabi, and I wanted to be close to them, so I also moved here. I've been here since COVID. And why the RAG problem is, in my experience, we built our own AI tooling with 9 million pages of content, and realized that it's quite difficult to build it, even as good engineers. And there's a lot of plumbing that needs to be done, and we're building the tools that we wanted to have ourselves.
Okay, so a brain power test. The two of you, right? You already heard each other's solutions.
Yeah.
How could you implement on each other? Because I see some really clear tracks here.
Actually, I met Abdellatif here at AI Mad Lab at the hackathon last year during February, and we were working together on the team, and it was the first time I was using Lovable. But then we've been following each other. Abdellatif has been with Rettsdata and Lovdata, and I've been with Lovdata and Rettsdata. So we already have a lot of synergies.
I think so too. You would need his tech, no doubts.
Potentially, I need him more than he needs me.
Yeah,
We need each other. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're a layer above, so I don't see the other flow there. But naturally, maybe you're closer to the customer than he might be in some cases, because you have really big clients.
Yeah, we're an infra provider, so we're
Yeah.
quite low level, we're industry agnostic.
Yeah, I was behind the curtains in your deal win victory this summer. And both of you just like, you close deals and you close money, so
We
let's
closed
applaud that.
Innovation Norway today, actually.
Oh,
Our first
yeah.
initial grant.
Nice.
So, anyway, 1 minute. Do you have a final statement, any of you? Why AI? Why this AI craze? What's the human value? How can we use it to actually build a better world instead of just someone owning all the platforms and, you know, new hegemony?
Yeah, I've been building products for 10 years almost, and it used to take months to get something off the ground. And I'm a builder, I enjoy building stuff. And now you can just remove all the boring parts of building. You can write code quickly, you can get your vision off the ground, and it's never been more exciting to just like see your idea like materialize and it being shipped.
We're going against lawyers, finance people, engineers, and it's crazy to see that we're able to deliver similar or more value at a fraction of the time. So it's sci-fi at times. I love it.
Let's all collectively enjoy this acid trip and applaud you both for building within it.
Yeah,
because it's a sauce to navigate.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Beautiful.
Hi there.
I have no idea what's going to happen, so
Get in. Into our...
I have no idea what's going
Two
to
red
happen.
mics. Boom. Here we go.
Hello. So here with
Hey.
me, I have Sean, the Carbon Master.
That's
You
too
might
much.
have a
but-
little better introduction.
Yeah, lovely. My name is Sean. I come from Italy, and I started Carbonomics. Well, back then it was Forest Sync, a couple
Right.
of years ago. And Forest Sync is the first European public exchange for carbon credits. In the specific, it's basically, imagine it as Coinbase for carbon credits.
And why does that matter today?
Well,
And a couple years back when you started this.
yes, imagine that for 30 years this market has been run completely over the counter.
Yes.
So if you wanted to buy a carbon credit, so carbon credit is a unit representing climate work that a company has been doing to capture CO2 from the atmosphere, which is quite critical in order to contain temperature raises and global warming. So for 30 years, if you wanted to buy a carbon credit, you basically had to contact the company, send them an email, wire transfer them.
Right.
So there's no traceability in the carbon credits market, there's no public data, and there's a huge amount of fraud. We're talking about up to 90% of the credits do not exist. And companies are just wasting, last year, up to $9 billion without having traceability. Through our infrastructure, every single transaction is publicly monitored, and it's traded exactly as if it was a stock exchange.
And why would people care about this going into the future?
Sorry, come again?
Why would people care about this going into the future?
Well, consider that at 2 degrees of global warming, we do expect by 2050 $5 to $15 trillion of GDP loss annually globally.
And if you were to translate this from economic speak, like if you're
it's
a
a
teenager,
it's
why should you care about carbon?
The question is, why should we care about carbon? Put it this way, it's about like keeping the planet as livable as possible for the longest time
Yes.
as possible. And put it this way, it's not just a climate security infrastructure, it's more like also social security infrastructure, because billions of people will have to migrate due to temperature rise.
Yes. And what motivates you to run this? Do you see the way it's damaging people's lives today, or?
Put it this way, I come from the commodity markets. I used to be in asset management and insurance.
Right.
I could have kept my salary and keep doing exactly what I was doing before.
And so why did you choose the tough life of a founder?
For the simple reason that there's no point in becoming a billionaire or a millionaire if basically you cannot use the resources in a livable country. I love to ski, and there's no snow left. I love nature. Okay, so that's kind of naive, but seriously, if you go to a beach today, it's just plastics everywhere. And just if you imagine like the fact that I can't be safe at my place anymore because there's lots of people that are more desperate, they need migrating because of climate.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge mess, global warming, and it's so under the radar right now because of Trump and because of the politics. So someone had to take action. I found out this solution during my academia process back in Finland.
Right.
And so it was like, I got endorsements, we realized that this could have been big, so why not turning it into a startup?
Amazing.
Lovely.
Well, I do love to hear that you're taking up this challenge. And I mean, we are in a community in Norway where it's a lot harder to see the damage of climate change. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fucking cold in here, and if it rises 2 degrees, you don't feel it so drastically.
Unless you ski.
Okay, well, indeed. But still, like, thank you so much for diving into that.
You're welcome.
Into that topic. But what was something that you found surprising in the space since you started the business? Because when you talk about it, it's kind of like a no-brainer to go into the space, right?
Put it this way, the problem of carbon is that it's an invisible molecule.
Indeed.
Which you cannot touch or see. So it's much harder to explain it to people and explain the relevance of what we're doing here.
Right.
But on the 26th of June, the first ton of CO2 in human history is going to be publicly tradable.
Damn.
And it's going to be live streamed.
Damn.
So I'll keep you posted.
Cool.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I think we still do have time though.
Okay.
Or we're waiting for our our next man. Can we see comments or questions?
No comments? Anybody there?
Yeah, but like you say, it's really hard to sell what you can't see. Or
the
not
problem
sell,
is
but
that
like go
people
into
do
business,
not
right?
people do not see the value in investing in climate, because if it's not, that's why we were we have been called already we're getting called regularly in Parliament to discuss like voluntary carbon markets, because there's a huge lack of understanding and competences in Norway when it comes to voluntary carbon market. Luckily, in these years we became cutting edge expert when it comes to carbon markets globally. The major problem is that if there's no regulatory push towards taking climate action, the usual question of companies, so why I should be the first one taking action?
Yeah.
So right now it's just a market, the push is marketing, and so right now the push is just for marketing reasons and is not because they see the value.
And how is that going, given all of the AI buzz? I mean, like AI infrastructure and those huge data centers.
Actually, data centers are a huge leverage for us.
Okay.
Companies are realizing that they need to compensate for unavoidable emissions, and they're going to invest a lot into climate solutions. The problem, again, is that there's no infrastructure to
do that.
And we are the first one actually building
cool
it.
That you are
Put it
doing
also
that.
in another way. We are applying for MiFID II and FCA regulatory bodies. Carbon credits are going to be a security, which means that not only are going to be bought to be retired, but can be bought, traded, and utilized for speculation in order to basically have a security and commoditizing CO2. It has been a discussion for 10 years, commoditization of CO2, which means that you can buy it and negotiate it publicly and use it to increase the value of your portfolio.
I so appreciate you taking care of the snow.
Thank you.
Well, I'd love to continue this.
See you later.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Jianan, thank you for coming on live.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And I already know you do really interesting stuff. And I don't like elevator pitches, but will you share a little about your passion and what you're building?
All right. So we are building a startup that build autonomous helicopters, move around 300 kilograms cargoes to offshore facilities, as well as doing some of the last mile delivery.
So when you say 300 kilogram cargoes, does that also entail 2 or 3 humans?
Well, we want to stay clear of humans because the regulation is much different. Yeah, but we want to make sure we can launch pretty fast. So.
Interesting. So, like, how do you get into this direction? You said like you do both hardware and software for this stuff.
Yeah.
And tell me about where you're from and your access to manufacturing and the unique angle you're coming into this from.
So I'm gonna give you a fascinating story, if that's okay.
Please do.
I'm a car engineer. I work on autonomous driving cars back in 2010, and I just realized how I'm Chinese, and I spent the past decade and a half in the U.S. I just realized how everything's so crowded on the road, and I realized how technologies have been shaping the infrastructure. So I kind of had a really, really weird idea of like what's going on in the helicopter altitude. And I shared my idea, and I said, hey, why don't we make autonomous driving helicopters? And I was lucky enough, found really smart engineers, actually a couple from Ukraine back in 2018. And we have been working on it. So we built everything from scratch as a hobby project. And we have our own onboard computers. And we don't license from any other companies to make us completely independent. And we have been testing this in a site in China, assemble our own whole thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you have sort of the perfect storm. You get really good talent from Ukraine. I guess they're specialists on rotor-based levitation.
Oh, they're very intelligent. Yeah.
So most hands-on experience you can get.
Yep.
And then the autonomous driving part. This is fantastic. I remember back like when I was at CES in 2018-19, I saw the electric Bell helicopters and all these things. I get that you want to avoid humans in terms of regulation, but how did you end up in Norway? The regulation nightmare of the world these days.
I married a Norwegian.
Ah.
Yeah, I just found
it. It's hilarious because you see this story so many times, like the mediocre US VC who married a Norwegian, and suddenly their subpar rhetorical skills were like here because nobody can communicate.
Yeah, I think I married a Norwegian because of good ethics and good value and moral, and we got along, and so we decided we're gonna quit our corporate life in the US and then move over here, trying to develop this technology sustainably here in Norway.
That's fantastic, actually.
Thank you.
And you're still happily married, and how many years you been here?
Oh, I moved here last year. That's why I'm so new. I moved here last year around August and spent most of the time abroad. And I have 2 kids, so guilty. They enjoy the school system. And my husband and I have been together for over a decade. And we talk. I was actually at a moral ambition circle before this event and trying to save the world together with a group of colleagues. But yeah, I think that is giving you the whole why we're here trying to do this business rather than being in the US or in China.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
I'm a true globalist, and I love meeting these kinds of contexts and stories in person and see that dream is real. So that is a nice segue into like the moral foundation of AI.
Okay.
Like, we're all becoming obsolete at some point, and I just want to hear your sort of personal take on how do we benefit all?
I have a lot of complaints about how this is not benefiting all. I don't have a solution. If I do, I wouldn't be here. I think AI is creating a large income gap, larger than before. I have a lot of concerns. And if you ask me, what I'm thinking about raising awareness of is to let people understand what the trade-offs are. I have a PhD, so I'm a big person on disclaimers. What you do, you understand what you're not doing, and there is opportunity cost. As long as we make it completely clear to people, you're doing action, one, and you're taking away things from your plate, and you're okay with that, continue. But without raising the awareness of people who are actually losing access to, and they're just blindly following the social norm, that to me is a big problem. So I'm not against AI. I think everybody should be leveraging it, but they need to be aware of the cognitive declining because of using AI or the lack of critical thinking, right?
I love that perspective. It's quite honest and quite realistic.
Yeah, but I'm fighting oligarchs and nobody wants to be honest, so.
Exactly. And none of us has these answers yet, because you can't stop innovating, but you also need to regulate. And where's the balance point, sort of? Is regulation the right way to go? Is it not? Let's see what the future holds.
I think regulation has hurt the European companies while competing with America and China. America and China each have a very unique strategy, right? US goes after algorithms and China goes after infrastructure. European countries sit here, we want to protect people's data. I'm all for it, but I think you should be able to protect your people's data as well as the space for competition. What that means is I think I love how Norway has their own cloud infrastructure, and I think you should make Meta build their product in your cloud infrastructure and make sure they follow your regulation.
I resonate those perspectives. I would want to spend hours into this conversation, but we have our next guest lined up.
Thank you.
And I must thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Hi, here again. What? There you go. Be my guest. Please.
Thank you.
There you go. Hi.
Hello.
So you are making the new... Wait, I lost my thought. You are, go ahead and introduce.
Yeah, well, we're, I would say like revamping a very archaic industry. So we're automating debt collection.
Do you believe that?
If I believe it?
No, it's to the audience. Do you believe that? Isn't it so fucking cool? What drives you to do this?
Well, I guess it's many things. But from doing it, we started off a bit agnostic, so just doing the AI voice part. But as we saw it working, we also realized that we have a chance to change it from within, and like nothing was talking to each other, like no stack was talking to each other,
right.
And it actually created friction with the users, like the consumers.
So you guys are in the debt collection space, and you're providing voice agents that do the work, or?
Yeah, we also collect for ourselves, so we do like the full stack.
Okay, cool.
So we have our own agents.
Right.
I think in the last few months we've collected over $3 million, and just through voice. Then we also do texting, email, and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the whole, like you are a debt collection business company. You don't provide a third-party service to you.
Well, we do both. Like we have our tech as well that we can license. So.
Cool. And you're saying that like a very surprising thing you guys found out was. The connections between like reaching out to the users and
I guess it's like in general you can create a better resolution experience.
Yeah.
So you can resolve the accounts much easier.
And what were the existing apps?
I think it's not just the apps, it's also the industry had this paradigm where it was just a numbers game. But I feel like there's much more to it. Like it's not just a numbers game. If you actually go in and learn the industry, there's a lot of nuance to what you could be doing better.
And what did you learn in the industry?
Well, that's a secret.
A lot, of course. What is your most surprising takeaway that you recently?
Well, I guess the most surprising one was that, or most surprising, I have a lot of surprising moments. But when we tried to do a data-driven approach, the systems weren't ready for it.
Okay.
And neither were our clients.
Right.
So we had to convince them, this is why we have to use the data, and this is how we're going to use the data.
The data meaning like to analyze and improve, or in what ways?
Everything. So what to do with the data after the call.
Okay. Yeah.
So we learned things about the consumers that we could use.
Okay.
Yeah.
To make the next experience better.
Yeah. Or just like, hey, you want to be texted? We text you. Like, is that simple? Right?
Nowadays texting works better, does it?
It's not about better, right? It's an extra channel. So the fact that you're available on all channels makes it, you just by that, ceteris paribus, you just collect more. So yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's a niche industry, so very niche.
And what motivates you to do this?
I guess there's more things that motivate me. But it's really cool to see how it's being transformed from within.
Yeah.
So the fact that we are, like I said, we are creating a better consumer experience overall, and we get the chance to actually personalize at scale. So with AI, you can actually, on an account level, like on a consumer level, truly understand that consumer and make a conversation around them, rather than, you know, just, hey, you have a script, follow this.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And is that what makes you different to a regular human debt collection agency?
With that, and we're always available, and we speak multiple languages.
That is a cool leverage with AI nowadays.
Yeah. So
you're indeed right. Yeah.
Other than that, I guess the value creation part, like people come to us, like we have one consumer calling us every 2 weeks to make a payment and just speak Spanish and feel like, and she's actually saying like it's so nice that there's someone she can talk to. And it's like one of those small moments where it's like, okay, well, we actually did that.
Wow. So you actually improve the experience for the user.
Yeah.
To be in that position.
Yeah. While also increasing the, I guess like to some degree, like collections need to exist. If you don't have collections, you can't lend out money. Everything is already priced in. So all the charged off accounts. So if you have some sort of service, you're a gym, you're a cable company, whatever, you have to price in the risk of the consumers not paying. Now, if there's a recoup rate, so you recover some of that through collections, then the price can be lower as well to the end consumer. So technically, everyone benefits from this system working better.
That is such a fantastic point.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. How do you feel about replacing, I mean, if I can say replacing human jobs from doing this?
I would say like step one is like you're really augmenting them. You're not really replacing them because there's...
But I mean, from the standpoint of having less job opportunities, and in a way you're taking somebody's paycheck away by replacing them with AI.
So the industry right now is actually struggling with churn and attrition.
Churn of employees?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, so most, or I wouldn't say most, but there's a huge turnover of employees, and that actually creates, again, even a worse experience for the consumer because you get newer employees all the time talking.
And they start the conversation from scratch.
Exactly. So I'm more focused on that aspect. On the replacing part, I say like right now we're augmenting, so you get a chance to increase the volume. You don't have per human. Now we can do like 4x the output per human.
Right. So there was actually a demand for more agencies?
Yes, there's definitely demand for that. So and there's also the opportunity to work, accounts that aren't workable with humans. So usually low balance accounts or accounts that they just gave up on.
Can be, right. I mean, I have a little bit of a history with Corafone, and I worked within voice agents, and it just, for me, when I heard about your company for the first time, it was just so impressive and cool that you were taking away the burden of, the employee and having to sit there and call people and ask for money. I mean, being that entry position user, right? Like, it's a tough job. That's why they churn.
Yeah. So it's a tough job. It's also very repetitive. So we were in the office of our clients, and they sounded very similar to our AI.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, and then on top of that, sometimes they would take portions of our AI calls, the recordings, and actually teach the collectors.
Oh my God!
Because it improvised in such weird ways that you wouldn't anticipate, but in a good way.
Okay.
So you also get the onboarding of new collectors now becomes easier because you have the educational piece of that too.
Right.
You can just listen to calls and see.
So you generate more data.
Yeah, and it's more transparent. So for people for the clients of for example, agencies or just for creditors in general, they can now see everything what happens to the calls. Normally they do like a stick sample, so they take like say X hundreds of calls to check that they're compliant. Whereas now we can actually at scale show that we're compliant.
Wow.
And they can actually granularly look through every call. So yeah.
Would you say that employees overall have a better day at their job day to day with your tool?
Employees?
Yeah, like the people working in the industry. Would you say you improve the satisfaction of their job and with Quora phone in place?
So yes, and so the initial reaction is they're scared,
Right.
because we get in and they're like, wow, it's actually doing what I'm doing. But once they get attuned to how it's working and how they work in tandem, they actually start enjoying it more, because now the transfers that we provide the humans, it's just like pure high intent leads that have already been massaged. So now they are handling more calls. They're handling about the same number of calls, but they don't have to take all those frustrating ones.
Oh wow!
So
you
in
get
a way,
to offload.
Exactly. So their emotional stress and where the compliance risk usually lies is from consumers yelling and screaming and reacting. And if you use AI to take away all those calls, then now the customer service supports or the collectors that are working now, they don't get that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So there are two sides to this, but initially they're usually scared because they see how good it works.
I mean, we see that everywhere in the industries, like
Yeah.
with AI coming in place, right? And I mean, replacing somebody's job, it's never fun.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Have you seen any improvements on the churn of the employees?
Improvements on the churn. I would say the ones we work with tend to stop hiring, but they don't usually, because they start offloading more and more to AI, or they start putting humans to do other things. Whereas there are certain things we can't really do with AI yet, and it's not because of technological reasons. It's more like for compliance reasons. So
Would
you're
you
allowed.
say compliance is lagging behind in that space?
I wouldn't say lagging behind. There are certain things that you aren't allowed to do with automatic dialing.
Is there something you are comfortable sharing?
Yeah, like
what is not allowed?
Well, for example, humans, you can call numbers that you don't have explicit consent with if you do manual dialing. Now you can't do that en masse with AI. That's one of the examples. The other one is you can't do point calling, which is like a technique in collections.
Right.
Yeah, so there are those examples. You can't call someone's employer. Like these are humans do that.
Yeah.
But we would never. Yeah, right now there's no rule for that. So.
No, that's great. I mean, I'm so happy that there is a way to repurpose people in the industry already.
Yeah.
Well,
these are examples. There's more.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd love to hear more. Maybe the next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Emil, are you ready? Okay, nice.
Okay.
Let's do a cozy finish with our OG with the most. Julia,
it's okay, guys. I can do both the mics. Don't worry. Do you want
Wow, you're experienced, huh?
Thank you.
First of all, sorry for the coordination noise earlier today.
No worries, no worries.
Sorry about
My
that.
job is to be extremely strict on behalf of the people.
But that's good.
I mean, I heard there is another bouncer in the room.
Well, basically, whoever is the most jacked guest, we typically assign the bouncer role. Oh my god, there's so many cameras. Which one do you look into?
You gotta look the person in the eye.
I just look into your eyes.
You
Okay.
can just feel comfortable. We'll be making you
We're
feel
gonna
comfy.
cuddle you up.
It's like being home with family for Christmas. I love
You
this.
built something
Was that
truly
the
wonderful
brightest
here.
light?
Thank you, man.
And this community is like really hitting it off. And I'm the old timer. She's your protege. She gave me
I
the
am
story.
the child of the community, you know that?
And we're in
Thank
a weird phase of humanity. It's like the last intellectual generation out before everything is automated.
Clusterfucked.
Yeah.
You can say clusterfucked.
Yeah, so, and you gathered all these people. So I'm like really curious about what's your take on this. Like, is this the last generation out before the dark ages? Or
Probably not, oh my god.
I think we're just getting started. Like the next 10 years are going to be more exciting than the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And this is when people realize that they can just build stuff, right? They can just do stuff. And you feel more empowered than you ever were before. And so my bet is that talented people will keep building, and we'll see a metric fuck ton. Is that the appropriate way?
Sure.
Yeah.
speak your personal way, please.
A metric fuck ton of new companies to build the country.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that saying, a metric fuck ton.
It's
That's
good.
a beautiful
I
saying.
stole it from somewhere, and now you'll steal it from me.
Oh, definitely. But
Yes.
you're on camera getting coined for the term. A metric fuck ton is a beautiful saying.
So if I want to get sort of remembered for a term, I'd rather be. It should probably be like pay it forward or like build.
You're gonna
the
have another
country.
chance to to have
To
a take at
redeem
this.
myself.
Yes. What do you?
What's the
well,
most
going-
interesting conversation that you guys have had today?
You start.
Pick a favorite.
Oof, I mean, I'm not allowed to pick favorites. Am
Well,
I?
you're
You're
gonna
supposed to say
imply
anyway.
that all the others are badder than the favorite, though.
I am very much tempted to say about voice agents and debt collection, but that was also my last conversation, which is probably why I remember it most.
Yes, Coraphone, growing fast.
I think they're doing such a freaking cool job, and I mean, automating a job that I don't think many people want to do, but they kind of have to do it is, in my personal opinion, is such a service to the society. Like, I don't think you want to be the person calling, oh, you haven't returned your money, and
One of the biggest problems is that like employees in a business churn
horribly.
Daily, yeah.
And I talked about that with him, and he mentioned that the churn is a lot lower, and the employees are overall happier because they can actually offload the shittiest conversations where users are just like yelling at you. And in a way, you get to have that personal connections by talking to some that, I don't know, haven't consented to AI, and you know, there is more freedom and choice in your day-to-day job because now you have, everybody has their own personal intern who you can offload work you don't want to do. I don't think you should do that to your intern, though.
Like texting your mom, that kind of stuff, or what
No.
was, how about you? What was the most interesting company that you spoke to today?
So I talked to this autonomous car engineer who's Chinese, and like the whole value divide in like how do we democratize this value production. And that's like sort of always the overarching question for me, is that, you know, human value drives any market, and then you have a lot of non-human actors. To begin with, you know, I think AI has already gone sentient. We're way past AGI, and sort of we're raising new silicon-based children, and we need to raise them with love. Yeah. In some way, and give them the best of us and not the worst of us.
Brain-computer interfaces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then with my childhood friend, who like our first company was a deep tech company, HCI, but intuitive, based on our way of communicating. And he's a music technologist. We had our custom-built sensor gloves to control the music.
Yeah.
Now that hardware has become so good, and he has models that can train on all his motion for him to like DJ his music completely intuitively on stage. So it's like just exponential explosion of shit, but at the same time, we've never seen a bigger change in, you know, the human condition, and we don't have the answers, and it's this arms race, and we don't know how it's going to land. But like being in this game for my whole life, and the whole brosphere and the tech sphere, and this whole like speed panic of building and taking a step back and coming back into it is. You know, you realize that all markets are human psychology.
Yes.
And whatever drives value is what is of value to us. And really diversify the crowd that's building. Like you said something really beautiful about the fact that now anyone can be an engineer. And I really hope that makes the people that are more focused on the social entrepreneurship to become engineers as well.
Absolutely. I think social entrepreneurship is the new way of being an entrepreneur nowadays. We're living in such a world of abundance. You truly need to understand how does it bring...
I'm on the other side of this table.
Oh, you are?
Okay, let's hear it.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
I've heard 951 pitches for like, we need to clean the oceans in the Oslo fjord with these tongue things, and we need to recycle old snooze boxes into bracelets.
What is social entrepreneurship? Let's clear that up.
Yeah, let me define it as business that is not a real business. How do you define it?
It's just fun that you say, because we
Being
always
an
use a joke
empathetical
that we...
That seems
That
important.
is being an
Yeah.
That is
empathetical
important,
engineer.
but like
No.
we're making
As in,
businesses.
like-
Yeah.
You need if you want to employ people and build great stuff, you need to make sensible business decisions.
No, absolutely. A business needs to function
Defined
as a business.
having customers.
But that's not social entrepreneurship, because that's more like non-commercially viable climate-saving entrepreneurship. We used to joke about that because, like, with that deep tech company, we never won a pitching contest because it wasn't green tech.
Just because you can put, what are those United Nations logos for?
Yeah.
If you put a couple of those logos on your slide deck, doesn't make it saving the world. It just means that it's non-commercial.
My joke to all these companies that are non-commercially viable, trying to save the world, is like, you're all flying from all over the world to meet for this convention about saving the world. But the best thing you could ever do for the world is just stay at the house, because the carbon footprint of you going there to talk about this is worse than you'll ever make up with this non-functional business idea.
If we switch the conversation a little bit to what do you guys think that people should be building? Like, what are too easy problems to be solving? What are people wasting their time at? And what should they actually try to build? Where do you see sort of like the value accrue? Is it in the energy layer, foundation model layer? Where do you want to...
I love this question because, you know, we're far past the industrial time age, you know, but the whole labor market is built on, you know, hours equals output, right? And if you just look at the state of Norway as a case study, we're so fucked because, like, everyone could be literally cuddling and having a good time and building family and love. But the 40% is working for the government in bureaucracy, really fucking depressive, and they have to stay there for 7.5 hours a day.
But we're really good at skiing, though. Isn't that going to solve our problems?
So, exactly, that's my whole point. Like, we haven't found a way to distribute the value yet. That's what we really need to do, because the fact is, everyone has this existential panic that they're not doing something valuable anymore. And that's facts, but you need a job to survive, and we should be like, way into the age of universal basic income or something.
GDP. Like, create more value for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So some way of distributing this.
Yes, I'm curious for your take. Where do you think is the value is going to be accruing?
Well, my take is a lot more on like how a person should develop in this world. Like, I just finished my education and I'm taught to be a software engineer, which is, I mean, debatable. Are there any software engineers left? Like, what is software engineering anymore? Definitely not what I learned in my lectures. I think you need to grow as a very multi-dimensional person, and you need a lot of different skills, and to be a well-rounded person, to be able to tap into empathy, user needs, to create value and not only build a technically functional, cool product because you love to nerd out, I do too, but we live in a world of abundance. You need to stick out to the people.
You guys seen South Park?
Yes.
The later seasons. The one with the fixers becoming the new billionaires because nobody is able to do anything practical anymore. And the people with practical abilities are the only ones left making money, you know.
Oh, well.
You need legal services, you need programming services, you need any, you know, text-based service, it's automatable.
But if you look around, do you feel like all jobs are being automated?
I think the top 1% is always going to be safe. And you got to find your niche at which you can excel at what you do, and so building your personal brand.
Do you know anyone who've lost their job to AI?
Well, that is a very biased question because I am here in this room, so no.
Because what I'm seeing is people being more productive, right?
Yeah.
Which probably means that people will not. So Klarna is a good example. They don't hire more people; they just naturally reduce the amount of people as they leave. And instead of hiring more people to meet customer demands, they just increase the productivity of their existing employee base.
Yeah.
That feels like what's happening. People are not getting fired. It's just like other people are just getting more productive.
Okay, but having been a student half a year ago, it does feel like people are losing their jobs because going into education, I was hoping to get a junior position, and now it doesn't exist.
But this is great, though.
Wait, how did you get your junior position?
I had to find leverage through... like I didn't send in any resumes or CVs because I was like, AI is reading that. I definitely do not have the checkboxes for AI because that is based on like 5 years ago, which is not relevant today.
So where are you working now?
I work at Capon
as
Tech. product engineer, which essentially is I do fucking everything and I make sure people love it.
Did you interview for this role?
I did.
How did you find out about the interview?
Emil. And this is why I say I am the child of this community. I talked my way into it. Duh. And I think finding smart ways where you can impress and be remembered.
Yeah.
I mean, attention is all that matters in so many ways.
A lot of people think that they just write a CV and they send it to a bunch of people and you wait for a reply. But like, Julia came to the coolest community in Norway for AI, and super hot startup was interviewing at 8 p.m. Thursday evening, straight from the community.
I made sure I was there well before 8 p.m.
Yes.
So
because
we're in
if
the
you
right
were
place.
in line when
But
there
you
was
took
already a
something
line.
nice.
You just show up,
Yeah.
have good energy, show that you're super smart like her, boom, all your problems are solved.
But also you gotta pay it forward. I make
Yeah.
sure if I know there is an opportunity for something, it helps to connect people. And
How do you pay it forward?
So that's my broader question to the whole, oh my God, the whole community. And you touched it, like people aren't really losing their jobs, but there's not new hires. And like in a broader scale, this is amazing because it should free us up to be more human and just enjoy each other and have a good time.
Do you think more
we
people
haven't
are
solved
gonna
that yet?
go into entrepreneurship, like they'll start their own companies because there are less open positions?
absolutely.
Yeah.
All of my unemployed friends either talk about unemployment or get self-employed.
But that's the whole brosphere
One of those
thing.
two is better than the other, right? Getting self-employed seems like the most, progressive.
It does, but if
the thing that
everyone
will
does
progress
it,
the most.
if everyone does it, is it that valuable?
You
Let's
need to
say
talk to customers.
Klarna, they don't hire new people, right? But they used to keep a workforce of X. So somehow we should find a way to distribute this value in a way that workforce of X is still sustained by this service
We should focus
provision
less,
to society.
We should focus less on distributing value and more on creating more value.
Absolutely. There's infinite
Okay,
amount of
so
problems
elaborate
that
that,
need solving.
like-
Yes.
Creating more
Pick your
value.
niche.
Bigger cake, more cake for everyone.
I agree. I totally agree. But
I feel like
the
we're
ones
fighting.
getting the cake, the ones making the cake, baking the cake, having a lot of cake.
Bakers are good.
It's no fun for them if they don't have someone to share the cake with, right? So, in this context, yes, I support infinite growth.
If you're part of the bakery, you should get part
Exactly.
of the cake. I agree.
But if you're not part of the bakery, you should also get a piece,
If you pay for it.
But
You need to pay it one or
if-
another way.
If nobody needs your services, what do you do?
Because I feel like
You drop doing that shit.
You're moving towards universal basic income here, right?
Yes.
That's why I said it.
Universal basic cake.
Yeah, exactly. Universal basic cake.
Yeah.
Because, like, that, to my point about human value, the ones creating that added value should be incentivized vastly.
Yeah.
We all agree.
You should teach people to bake, not teach them to be a cake.
Exactly.
That's how that saying
But
goes.
then when they are, it's not fun if the rest are depressed.
That is true.
Because
I
they
mean,
need
mental health
they
is
need
very
some
much
people to
arising with
celebrate that victory with. And fact of the matter is that, as it has been for a long time, everybody doesn't need to do shit anymore, but we're sort of forced to.
And that is what I love Mad Lab community for. Like, we are all have this thing that connects us, and the human interaction is here right now. And it's kind of silly
This
of
is
us and
everyone
hypocritical to
celebrating
bring
the
the
cake
camera.
together.
If
But-
you're at the live stream, you should be here, right? The main
Yes.
value is not watching this, is being in the room
In
with
the
us.
fucking room.
That is the
Come
goal.
be with us.
AIMadlab.com. You apply to get here. We manually filter every single person that applies to make sure you're technical. 100% code developers, 0% business developers.
If you're not technical, there is a way to get in. I really was not.
Become
Contact
technical.
me.
Become
to do that.
technical.
What is technical
Like
with
Julia
AI?
said, prompt engineer.
Oh,
on watching the stream.
Shout
Let's
out to
go.
all of you. Come
Argo,
here and
let's
party
go.
with us in spirits.
Also, no one is watching the time.
Wait, I
here.
know who's Argo. That's my dad. Wait a second, that is
We're
my
10 minutes
You
past.
heard it here first. Mad TV,
Thank you
Emil.
so much. This was super fun. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Cool. Is this it? Oh my god, my family is here. Thanks.
The crazy setup here as well. Man, this is very cool.
That is so cool.
So I got this merch today. It's from a startup. It's
Yeah,
called,
we thought it was yours.
It's called Drippa. Yeah, no, it's not me. I'm just like a walking ad board. Basically, if you're a developer and you ship stuff and you have other people that need to understand what's happening, you just use Drippa to tell them about it super simply. So, super affordable. You don't want to write those things, you just automate it.
What's your pitch?
You just sign up now. No, just sign up right now. Like sign up to Drippa. Like the founder is super cool. And he has his first paying revenue, like first paying users, and he needs more to build more cool stuff for you and me. Oh, you see, even here, multiple people wearing Drippa. Okay.
That's a good name too. Nailed it.
Good job. You really made it happen.
Easy.
Thank you so much.
Mic
We'll
drop.
Give an extra shout out for the man that is doing the cables.
Big extra shout out for the main man of the show.
Woo! How did it feel?
How did it feel?
Oh, it was super nice. I mean, the guys in the comments, I made a lot of screenshots. We have. How are you doing? Okay, we are on this camera.
Oh shit. Which is this?
And that one.
Man.
Well, put it on your face.
No, but it's no.
So this has been the setup. This is the man that made it happen. How did it?
It's good. I mean, I love it. I want to support this community, and I want to keep posting things online and on my YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe, that would be amazing.
You should subscribe. Oh wait, it's over?
No, it's not over yet.
Oh wait.
But we're gonna end it
It's
now.
not over.
I think we will end it now.
Woo!
Thank you. We will end it. Bye bye.
Oh my god, we fucking did it! What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh. I'm so glad my dad won.
Yeah, it's hard to say goodbye, you know. Now I'm part of history.
Now I'm part of history. You are indeed. How do you end this though?
I'm just gonna end it.
Okay, bye. Love you, bye.
Okay. 9 people still watching.